Then Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged. And the soldiers wove a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they dressed him in a purple robe. They kept coming up to him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" and striking him on the face. Pilate went out again and said to them, "Look, I am bringing him out to you to let you know that I find no case against him." So Jesus came out, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them, "Here is the man." When the chief priests and the police saw him, they shouted, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and crucify him. I find no case against him." The Jews answered him, "We have a law, and according to that law he ought to die because he has claimed to be the Son of God." Now when Pilate heard this, he was more afraid than ever. He entered his headquarters again and asked Jesus, "Where are you from?" But Jesus gave him no answer. Pilate therefore said to him, "Do you refuse to speak to me? Do you not know that I have power to release you and power to crucify you?" Jesus answered him, "You would have no power over me unless it had been given you from above. Therefore the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin." From then on, Pilate tried to release him. But the Jews cried out, "If you release this man, you are no friend of the emperor. Everyone who claims to be a king sets himself against the emperor." When Pilate heard these words, he brought Jesus outside and sat on the judge's bench at a place called the Stone Pavement, or in Hebrew, Gabbatha. Now it was the day of preparation for the Passover, and it was about noon. He said to the Jews, "Here is your king." They cried out, "Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him!" Pilate asked them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but the emperor." Then he handed him over to them to be crucified. "Crucify him," they yell. "We have a law," they yell. "Away with him," they yell. Collective suffering and oppression will find ways to outlet anger and frustration. Someone must be to blame for what we are going through. If we can punish and scapegoat those who are wrong, those who deserve it, then we can feel a bit better about ourselves. And we can save our way of life. We can save our culture. We can save what we believe is right. Who knows how many people were there yelling at Jesus? But the people that were there, the people who were crying out, they wanted him to die. They wanted someone to die, someone to suffer, someone to take the punishment, someone to feel the pain, feel their pain, relieve their pain. We know what it is like to live in the middle of an angry crowd, and there are many days where we can successfully ignore it, or we can tune it out or turn it off in our own hearts or the collective public voice that we listen to. But if we aren't careful, we know the temptation to join in, to cry out in judgment at someone who personifies what we believe is wrong with the world today, or just the next bystander who we bump into in line, to yell, "Crucify him," not knowing the fullness of the person in front of us who we are transmitting our pain to. And yet, somewhere in that crowd, somewhere in that person being yelled at, God is revealed. Love is there, not in the yelling, not in the cries for blood, but in the humiliated figure, in the silent suffering of the victim. Let us pray this hour for those who serve us and the needs of our daily lives, especially the minimum and low-wage essential employees who stock shelves, clean floors, and attend to the little details without recognition or reward. For all who are unemployed or at risk of economic failure. For all who are abused in body, mind, or spirit, and for all who are neglected, mistreated, or deprived of love and affection. For those who abuse, neglect, and take life, that their pain may be revealed and healed as well. For all of us who are scared or fearful of the uncertainty of the present moment. For each of us who desires forgiveness for our actions, and for those we know we need to forgive. God of love, be with us who suffer, and reveal yourself again to us in our world.
Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Were you there when the sun refused to shine? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when the sun refused to shine?